Welcome to the Whole Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you become a fat burner, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey, everybody. I'm very, very excited for this topic today with a Natural Stacks, and Roy they're in Seattle, and I met them at Natural Product Show Expo West a couple months ago and just been fascinated by their products and their website, and actually sleeping the best I've been sleeping for years. So I have to get him on the show. So I was bugging him, and now we got you on. So thanks for coming on the show finally to talk about this topic. Neurotransmitters. You've got it all going on with your products, but let's get started with who you are and what Natural Stacks is all about.
Sure. So Natural Stacks creates open source supplements to build a better brain. And open source is our concept of transparency and quality. It's really a self-imposed quality program that we created where no proprietary formulas. We think people deserve to know exactly what they're putting in their body. Full traceability on the ingredient side, so we disclose who all of our ingredient suppliers are, and then third-party lab testing. So that was just a pillar for Natural Stacks when we got started, because we saw there's some lack of transparency in the industry. And then to build a better brain, all of our products are brain health related. And to get back to my background and how it all came to be, I've always been an athlete, and I played football in high school, played football in college. I have black belts in 2 different martial arts. I've always been a constant athlete, and I've taken a lot of supplements for my body: proteins, creatines, branched chain amino acids, pre-workouts. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't think about my brain really until I watched my grandfather go through dementia and Alzheimer's, and just a really painful thing to watch, the slow degradation of someone you love. So that's when I started thinking about my brain. Hey, I'm taking such great care of my body. What's going on in my brain? And at the same time, I professionally was procrastinating, and I wasn't working as hard as I should, and I knew I wasn't getting as much done as I would like. So that's what really started my quest to dig in deep into brain supplements, figure out how my own brain worked, figure out how to optimize it. And then, that's how it came about. So we started creating very targeted supplements that are different than what's out there, because I really wasn't pleased with what was on the market already. And to speak on that a little bit, when you're looking at nootropics, which is a cognitive enhancing substance, there's either synthetics, drugs like an Adderall or Ritalin or a modafinil, or there's natural substances like caffeine. And when you look at the supplement aisle at your health food store, the brain health category has been really stagnant for a long time. It's either standalone ingredients like a ginkgo or a huperzine A, vinpocetine, gotu kola, and these ingredients have been around for thousands of years, and there's plenty of research and sure they work, but they're very mild. You're not going to take a ginkgo and really feel your brain being sharp. Or you're not going to take just an amino acid by itself and really feel the results of that. And so I wanted something that I could take it and I could feel it. I can kill my procrastination. I can get more work done, but then also have good brain health for the longevity and for the future. So those standalone ingredients weren't sexy. And then there's these nootropic blends, which was basically just a blend of those 10 or 15 brain health ingredients with no real rhyme or reason, proprietary formulas. You don't know what's in there. And I've tried all the supplements, all the blends, and sure, you feel something. It's a little more dramatic than taking a single ingredient, but it's a very scattered approach, and they're activating multiple neurotransmitters and pathways in the brain at the same time. And for me, it caused almost more procrastination and kind of a scattered brain. And so that's when I really started looking at the individual neurotransmitters, how they work, and how I can optimize them for different parts of the day. Sorry, that was kind of long, but
no, it's great. But so did you study all this on your own, that you became an expert in nutritional science, neurotransmitters, brain health? How did you learn everything?
Yeah, all self-taught. I mean, I've had a lot of great mentors and people along the way. But really, personally, I enjoy digging into the science, reading the PubMed papers and figuring out how things work, and looking at a standalone supplement that maybe has been successful in the market for hundreds of years. How can I make this supplement better? And that's easier, how do I get it absorbed quicker or more effectively? Or how do I create a synergy that helps all those ingredients work better together? And I just really enjoy that, the kind of the building blocks and figuring out how things work in the brain.
So I've been a fitness trainer for 25 plus years, but I started getting into nutritional therapy, became a nutritional therapy practitioner 3 years ago almost. And then just dabbling into all this stuff last 10 years. And I find that, there's just so much connection of the gut and the brain together. And since we started the podcast back in 2011, doing Fit, Fat, Fast and talking about metabolic efficiency and eating fat. And then before that, my own journey with adrenal exhaustion and just feeling, athletic, but then you're just kind of dying on the inside. I think you're thriving, but not feeling alive. And so over my years of all that together, I really find that, it's the question of why, what is the root cause, and where is that coming from? And looking at all this, just hearing people, and then my own experience is brain fog. Like, why do we have procrastination? Why do we feel like, oh my gosh, I forget that already. I can't remember that name. And what's that word? And it's not just dementia as we get older, but there's something going on. Cause I know I'm struggling with a lot of memory issues. And that's why I was curious of, okay, how am I going to, what can I do? And Dave Asprey always talks about all this stuff too. And Ben Greenfield, and we're all about brain health, but what is the why? Why do you think that we are struggling with brain health? Is it the gut or is it the brain? Where's it coming from?
I think it's coming from a lot of different places. I'd say one area that it's coming from is overstimulation. Kind of you're burning out all your neurotransmitters very quickly. Everything's instant gratification. And we're exposed to so much lights, sounds, information overload. And just, I think people are losing a natural balance and, not taking more of a holistic approach and figuring out, okay, I'm excelling in this part of my brain or my body, but I'm lacking this other part. And just, it's that balance that really keeps everything moving the way it should.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's kind of go into neurotransmitters and
Sure.
what they do and how they work and how we make them.
Yeah. So neurotransmitters very basically are just neurochemicals that pass information in your brain, and they allow you to feel and to think and to focus, to empathize. And you really learn a lot about the brain when you start to understand the four main neurotransmitters: dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine, and GABA. Each one of these neurotransmitters is responsible for its own aspect of cognition. And when you can isolate the neurotransmitter and optimize just a single neurotransmitter at a single time, you can really have some amazing results. So dopamine is related to energy and motivation, drive, the wantingness to accomplish a task. So if you're low in dopamine, you might be experiencing low energy, procrastination, the inability to experience pleasure, so just kind of dull. Serotonin is a positive mood and feeling great, low stress, whereas in low amounts of serotonin in your brain, you might start to experience negativity. Digestive disorders can be related to serotonin, the neurotransmitter, low self-esteem. And then acetylcholine is short-term memory and mental processing speed. How fast is your brain working? So if you're feeling that kind of the general symptom of brain fog, not able to multitask, not able to synthesize, you're mentally slow, you're not thinking as fast as you should, that's acetylcholine. And acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter that typically starts to degrade quicker than others. And most people, when they're kind of getting old syndrome is, where'd my keys? Where did I put this? What was that person's name? Tip of the tongue syndrome. I can't remember that word. That's related to acetylcholine. And so that's the one that I believe starts to degrade the quickest in humans. And Alzheimer's, dementia, is related to severe deficiencies in acetylcholine in the brain. And then GABA is the ability to empathize and the ability to slow down, to socialize, to have a relationship. So if you're potentially low in GABA, you're overstimulated. You can't fall asleep at night because you have racing thoughts. So GABA helps you calm down and relax, relieves anxiety, relieves nervousness. So really everyone needs to have healthy amounts of each of these 4 neurotransmitters.
But how do you know what you need? Because I feel like, okay, I could use all of those, but you don't really want to mess with your neurotransmitters. And, if you take too much of this, you're out of balance of that, and I listened to Dr. Ben Lynch and genetic testing, how much you need and when to stop, and how do you figure out all of that for an individual?
So with our supplements, we have supplements that target each of the 4 main neurotransmitters. And we always start with the raw amino acid food-based building blocks and the vitamin and mineral precursors and cofactors. So we're supporting the natural metabolism. We're not skipping any metabolic steps. We're not forcing your brain to make a neurotransmitter. We're providing everything that it uses to create a neurotransmitter. And if it wants to, it's going to. So you're not going to overdose. You're not going to have a tolerance or an issue taking these supplements. They're safe to take every day. But basically, to answer your question, I see these as regular maintenance tools. I take all 4 of these supplements. Some days I don't. Some days I take 2. Some days I take 3. But very generally, I like to take dopamine in the morning, dopamine promoting supplements, because that helps me get out of bed and tackle my to-do list. I like to take acetylcholine boosting supplements around early afternoon or late morning, kind of midday. That's when I'm doing my biggest cognitive load for the day. That's when I'm doing my big work project. I need that power to grind through the work. I like to take serotonin promoting supplements in the afternoon because I get the afternoon hump. I'm a little bit stressed out, a little bit overworking. And if I can nudge my brain to be a little more positive when I close my day, I'm more productive for those last few hours of work. And then I like to take GABA promoting supplements in the evening because they calm you down and relax you. So very generally, those are the times of day that work best for these supplements. But I like for people to think of them as tools. Mm-hmm. So they're tools on your tool belt. And it requires you to be introspective and to realize how you're feeling. And I think a lot of people just have trouble really realizing how they feel, and not just brain fog. What is brain fog? How exactly do you feel? What's happening? Are you struggling to remember words, or are you not having motivation, or can you not focus on something for more than a few minutes? Those are all little different areas of cognition. So if you can understand that, okay, it's in the morning and I have a big presentation at work and I'm feeling anxious about it. Having some GABA at that time is really going to help you calm down and calm your nerves. So although GABA promoting supplements are best at night because they can promote relaxation and help you sleep, if you're in a situation that is potentially causing anxiety or nervousness, take the GABA then. That's a tool on your tool belt to help your brain tackle that goal or that project. So that's how I like to think of it.
So we're feeding our brain the nutrients it needs to make these neurotransmitters
correct
to function at optimal level.
Yes. So our supplements are promoting the production of this neurotransmitter by providing it everything that it naturally uses to make that neurotransmitter.
Because as a nutritional therapy practitioner in our program, we learn a lot about digestion and working on the why. So we always start north and work our way south, working with a client individually. So a lot of people, we fill out a nutritional assessment questionnaire first and get to know what's out of balance. And so you have this whole book you can look at, okay, that's related to this or that. And a lot of people have these symptoms that you're saying, the mental drive, the positive mood, the calmness, relaxation, kind of all of it for a lot of people. And taking these supplements, we work on lifestyle habits as well, but nutritionally working on what they're eating, but how they're eating it. As you said, we're in overdrive all the time. And I talk about sympathetic dominance all the time. So we want to make sure, we're taking these supplements, but are we working also on what we're eating and how we're eating it and how we're feeling?
Sure. And what you're doing and what you're exposed to. Yeah. So the neurotransmitters, everyone, interestingly enough, these 4 neurotransmitters define your personality. They define how you interact with others. They define how you think, how you feel, how other people perceive you because of what you do is defined by these neurotransmitters. Everyone genetically is predisposed to metabolize certain neurotransmitters better than others. So everyone is dominant in one of these neurotransmitters and typically deficient in another one. Mm-hmm. And that's just natural. And that is who they are. So if you know someone that's kind of that high strung, really going, maybe they're a high acetylcholine type person, but maybe they're deficient in GABA and that's just their personality. So, but besides that, factors in what they eat, of course, and then their environment, like are they exposed to sunlight? Are they getting exercise? Are they in a positive or negative relationships? All these things will impact the neurotransmitter levels. And if that's happening on a regular basis, then you can really start to get a deficiency if you're kind of having the same negative exposures on a regular basis. So yeah, you do need to take a whole body, a holistic approach. But like I said, I think these are tools, and it's not like, hey, take this every day and that's all you need to do and you're going to be feeling 100%. I like to think of it as, maybe you do need to take it every day, or certain situations, if you're starting to feel a certain way, you can help balance yourself out.
Well, that's why I found in your product and was researching it a little more. And I think it's so important for as a practitioner and nutritional therapist to look at these supplements to help their clients and treating the whole person, as I do with my holistic method coaching program, that mood and behavior is so important, obviously, because we got, stay awake morning to night, and when we're not sleeping, we should be feeling good and feeling alive and thriving every day. So I think it's so essential to put this together when you're working with a client. As a coach, we should be helping people feel better and optimize their health at the cellular level, but also the brain health, as we're saying, is so essential. So the brain food is one of your supplement lines that we were just speaking about, but mental performance and your performance essentials. So let's go into the mental performance side.
Sure. So I believe you're referring to a few of our products. We have a flagship nootropic called Siltep. Yes. And we have a magnesium for the brain. We have a smart energy. We have a probiotic for the brain. So these are all very targeted supplements. Each of our supplements is only hitting one mechanism of action in the brain. And that's what I think separates us apart, especially when you look at the brain food line, is other companies have a general mood boosting formula, or they'll have a general brain boosting formula. And generally the mood formulas are hitting serotonin, dopamine, and sometimes GABA all in one formula. And like I said before, you might feel something, but it's not the best for all situations. And then when you're looking at our other products, we have a magnesium that's specific to brain health, and that's great in the evening. And then we have an energy product, Smart Caffeine, which is just 2 ingredients, and that's a natural caffeine from coffee beans combined with L-theanine or L-theanine. And so all that is just, it smooths out the jitters and the anxiousness of caffeine. It creates more of a smooth energy. L-theanine is an amino acid found in green tea that helps increase GABA. So that helps calm you down, and that helps remove the negative side effects of caffeine. So very simple product there. Going back to the magnesium, that's 3 different types of magnesiums, all fully chelated, which means that they're bound to an amino acid. Most people don't realize about magnesium is that there's dozens of different types of magnesiums. Yeah,
that's what I wanted to ask you about, because I've been taking that one, sure, the MagTech, and I find I've been taking it at nighttime with what we'll get to, the CBD Dream product. Mm-hmm. That's my new stack for myself for sleeping, and it's working amazing. But the magnesium I know is so different than other magnesium. So can you just explain it? Because I think for athletes, magnesium, and for everyone, we're often low in it, but for muscle cramping and for multiple reasons, magnesium is always something we are suggesting to people.
Magnesium's huge for recovery. And I'd almost say that if someone was just going to take one supplement out of all of them, it would just be magnesium. I think if you're just going to choose one, it's so important. It's involved in like 300 different biomechanical processes in your body. Most people, I think one study found that 85% of Americans were deficient in magnesium. That's because it comes from green leafy vegetables. Most people don't eat enough of those. Mm-hmm. And if you do, a lot of times the soil is depleted, and it's hard to get magnesium into your body. And it's also, your body is really poor at absorbing oral magnesium. Mm-hmm. So transdermal magnesium is the best way to get magnesium into your system. So an Epsom salt bath or magnesium cream or lotion, you're going to see more magnesium getting into your bloodstream and into your body in an efficient way. When you take it as a supplement, minerals in general are really poorly absorbed, but your body's really good at absorbing amino acids. Amino acids are found in food, proteins, and all kinds of different foods are made up of amino acids. So chelation is the process of binding a magnesium molecule to an amino acid. And when you have that one molecule amino acid / magnesium, it gets into your system a lot quicker. It's absorbed a lot better, and it actually works. So most forms of magnesium are not chelated. They're like, I think magnesium oxide is the most common form of magnesium, and it's only like 15% absorbed. So a lot of that becomes loose stools. It goes right through you. The next kind of, I'd say, up the quality scale of magnesium will be magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate's very common, but it's also very cheap, and it's pretty poorly absorbed. It's like 30% absorbed. So our forms of magnesiums that we chose to put in our product MagTech are the 3 forms with the highest absorption rates. We're talking like 80-85%. And we have magnesium threonate for the brain. This is the only form of magnesium that's been shown to cross the blood-brain barrier. So pretty significant. And they have amazing studies on elderly folks showing the increase in synapse density and the increase in memory with levels of magnesium getting into their brain. So that's magnesium threonate. And we blended that with magnesium taurate for the body and muscle recovery, and magnesium glycinate for sleep and relaxation. So magnesium taurate is magnesium that's been bound to taurine. Taurine's an amino acid that you may have heard of. It's great for muscle health and recovery. It's good for heart health. So we put that in there because it helps with muscle recovery. You're getting the benefits of that amino acid and the magnesium at the same time. And then magnesium glycinate is magnesium that's been bound to glycine. You may have heard of glycine. That's another amino acid. It increases GABA in your brain. It's relaxing. There's lots of studies showing that glycine helps improve sleep. So we really wanted to have a very complete magnesium complex: magnesium threonate for the brain, magnesium taurate for the body, and magnesium glycinate for sleep and relaxation. Smart.
And I think a big word you said is absorption rate. I think so many people take all these supplements that they buy local stores and wherever they get them and read about them. And then I think a lot of them, they don't even absorb. So I know a lot of them are the carrier oils that to get them if they're fat soluble or water soluble, but also a lot of the new forms, the liquid under your tongue, sublingual. So your supplements you've tested are more, because they're they're liquid in capsules, some of them.
So magnesium itself is a water soluble nutrient. And so it doesn't need a fat to be absorbed.
But the other ones, we're going to go into the CBD.
Yeah. So we sell a vitamin D product, and vitamin D is one of the fat soluble nutrients. So we encapsulate that with organic coconut oil because that's synergistic. It's going to help you absorb it a little bit better. But magnesium is water soluble, so it doesn't really matter if you can take it with or without food. And because it's so well absorbed, you actually feel the results. And that's what's, I think, unique about it is people, and magnesium is one of our best-selling products, this MagTech, because people are getting immediate benefits in their sleep. And they're falling asleep faster. They're staying asleep longer. They're not waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And they haven't experienced that before from a magnesium.
Yeah.
They kind of think of it as something that, mom or grandma said you should be taking a magnesium supplement. So they have, but they're taking the cheapest one that happens to be magnesium oxide that actually doesn't even get absorbed.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference in magnesium supplements, and it's our job to educate and to let people know that if you want something that is actually going to work, you have to get it into your system. It has to be absorbed.
Yes. And that's the key thing. I think people need to look at their supplements that they're taking now, and are they just excreting them or, not getting anything into their body, into their cells. So the other ones the performance essentials or the brain biotics. How is the probiotics for your brain? We talk about the gut-brain connection. Talk about that product.
Yeah, this is a fairly new one for us. I think we spent about 6 or 9 months since we released Brain Biotic, and it was a fun one to develop. There's the probiotic industry in general is starting to differentiate. If you look at a store, you're starting to see more condition-specific probiotics, and it should be that way because different probiotic strains react differently in your gut. They have different benefits. And in the past, I think everyone's kind of thought of a probiotic's a probiotic. It doesn't really matter what the strains are. This one says it has a bunch of probiotics, and great. Probiotics are good for your gut, so I'm going to take this. But I'm trying to educate people that, hey, what are you feeling and what's your goals? Are you trying to improve digestion and metabolism, lose weight? Are you trying to, do you have bloating? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have IBS? All these different things, there's different probiotic strains that benefit those the best. And in the past, the market has unfortunately kind of pushed people towards more CFU, the better. So you see products that are like 200 or 400 billion CFUs. And that's really just a marketing play. The effective dose of most strains is just 1 billion. And if they're hitting a high label claim like that, they're using cheap strains. Lactobacillus cassia is one of the offenders. It doesn't do much for your gut. Some people, it actually causes histamines. And it's very cheap. So if a supplement company is saying, hey, this has 400 billion CFUs, I guarantee you the first or second one is Lactobacillus cassia because it's so cheap. They use it as a filler strain.
And just by the way, I read a research study on that, and it's just one of the million other things that we have wrong in our industry that you read and like, oh my gosh, I've been taking those for years, and now I know they weren't even doing anything. And a lot of probiotics don't bypass your stomach acid and even get to your gut. So one, we got the cheap ones, and two, they don't even get to our gut. So all those people are still taking yogurt thinking they're getting their probiotics.
Right, I know. So the studies are starting to catch up, and I think consumers are a little bit behind, but they're starting to catch up too. So all these studies are really within the last 5 years, which is fun and exciting. It's kind of cutting edge stuff. But I started to see more studies coming out related to brain health. And I focused in on just 4 strains that have the most studies related to their ability to improve brain health. And these are human studies. And I use the same exact dose in our supplement that matches these studies. And they're showing stress relief, mood increasing, and short-term memory benefits from probiotics, which in general is super cool, that you can take a little bug and put it in your gut, and the way it reacts is going to help improve neurotransmitters and other chemicals in your brain. So it really shows the testament to the gut-brain connection, to the vagus nerve. Now, these strains, they are going to have some benefits to digestion and metabolism and general gut benefits. But what's interesting about these strains is their ability to improve brain health that other strains cannot.
In what way? How do they help our brain health?
So
benefits.
There's 2 strains, Helvictis and Long Gum. We're buying those from Lehman, a very well-known European company. And they have studies on those 2 strains together showing their ability to improve mood and relieve stress. The studies were on, I think, grad college kids, and they were able to improve their moods and relieve the stress, which then led to better test scores. And the other 2 strains we're using are Brevis and Planetarum. Yeah, Brevis and Planetarum. And those are good for short-term memory and BDNF production in the brain. So, I'm sorry, but probiotics in general are all of our other supplements, the brain food line, the neurotransmitter ones, most people feel results within about 30 minutes of their first dose. Probiotics in general, you have to take it for, I'd say at least 10 days, regular use, every day for 10 days before you can really start to change the balance of bacteria in your gut. So probiotics are a little different, where you're not just going to take one capsule and then all of a sudden have results, because your gut, it takes time to really change the balance, and you have to be providing those nutrients. You just take one dose, they may not really infiltrate, they may not really flourish unless you provide more regular use. And so all the studies on probiotics, if you look at them, they're basically like a month of regular use before they do the testing. Whereas some of the other supplements, you can see more fast results.
Right away. So I know we're running short on time because that's why I knew this would take a while, because I want to talk about the CBDs in everything and everywhere. So talk about what is the cannabinoid system, if you could, and why you guys are adding that into a new supplement line.
Yeah, so the endocannabinoid system really regulates the balance in your body. I don't know if that's the best description, but helps dramatically with discomfort, stress and mood, anxiousness, and sleep as well. So I think those are the three main benefits of CBD: is discomfort, stress, mood, and sleep. Mm-hmm. And I think CBD is going to be the biggest nutraceutical ingredient since omega-3s.
Really?
And that's because it works. It's super effective for a wide variety of people. It's not just like some people it works and some it doesn't. Really some dramatic results. It doesn't get you high like some people may think. So there's none of that psychoactive component, but the results for inflammation and for mood and anxiety relief are really impressive. So that's why we wanted to do it. And also I released the CBD products because I saw what was going on in the market and I was a little discouraged. There's a lot of quality issues. There's a lot of labeling issues. And so I knew I could create a higher quality and more effective product. And so it was a fun project for us. And so we came out with two products. One, really extreme with our sourcing. So we're utilizing just two hemp strains, berry blossom and cherry wine, grown in Colorado, organically grown, CO2 extract, which means they're not using any solvents. A lot of companies are using methanol and butane and hexane and these industrial solvents, which are illegal, they're toxic. They get into the finished product, you'll never see them on a label. So the first thing is you want to look for a solvent-free, either a CO2 extract or a lipid-based extraction, if you're looking for a high-quality CBD product. And then you want like pesticide-free or organically grown. This is, it's really important. And so we dialed down, we just want these two strains because they have these amazing terpene profiles. Terpenes are the components of the plant that have the aromatic, the smell and make them unique. And those terpenes have their own beneficial impacts to the body, and they work very synergistically with CBD. They call that the entourage effect. So I was surprised that most companies don't even know which strains they're using. There's many different hemp strains, and they all do different things. They all make you feel a different way. Charlotte's Web, the biggest company, they use Charlotte's Web. That's their strain. Plus CBD, the other big company out there, they use Fedora. So they actually know their strain as well. But besides that, basically all the other CBD companies don't know which strain they're using. It's because it's been kind of commoditized, and they're throwing a bunch of different plants from a bunch of different farms, different strains, different genetics, and they're just going after the CBD content. But I wanted to go after this whole plant experience. And so we dictated we're only allowing two different strains into our product. So a very high quality CBD extract is what I'm getting at. And then functional formulas. So we have Omega CBD, which is the full spectrum hemp extract combined with algae-based omega-3 oil. And we did that because omega-3s are the foundation to the endocannabinoid system. There's studies showing that if you are deficient in omega-3s, you cannot absorb CBD very well. The CB1 receptors is what CBD bind onto, and they don't work very well unless you have a high level of omega-3s in your body. So omega-3s are necessary for the health of the receptors. You actually need omega-3s to create new cannabinoids, to synthesize them, to metabolize them correctly. You got to have sufficient omega-3s in your system. And so that's why we put some in there, because there's studies showing if you're deficient, you're not going to absorb it very well. So very synergistic formula.
And most people are probably low in omega-3s, especially athletes.
Most people are. It's hard to get high quality fish, and most people aren't taking omega-3 supplements. So really important formula. I think that none other companies were doing it. It's a little bit hard to pull off because the algae oil is it's shipped frozen. It's really hard to deal with. But we did it, and so that's that's that product. Omega-3s also happen to have very synergistic benefits. So omega-3s help with inflammation, just like CBD does. So we put the two together. The other one, which sounds like you're a big fan of, is our Dream CBD, and this is for sleep. So
I'm taking both of them, by the way.
Oh, nice. Nice. So the Dream CBD for sleep is we combined the full spectrum hemp extract, and we use a little bit higher dose, 15 milligrams. The Omega has 10 milligrams of CBD. I went with 15 because we want a little bit more of that relaxation effect. And we combined that with lavender-infused olive oil. We found this farm in the Midwest, and we shipped them lavender from France, and they infused it into this olive oil.
Wow.
Which is awesome. And if you check the lab tests, we did all the lab tests on this product, and we did a terpene profile. And you can see the linalool from lavender is showing really strong. And it's really cool to see that actually on the tests after you put the lavender in there. But linalool, the terpene from lavender, is very synergistic with hemp. And that helps with the onset of sleep. That helps you fall asleep faster. And then we have a microdose of melatonin in there, just 0.5 milligrams. And that helps with sleep duration. And so that'll help you stay asleep longer. But we chose such a small dose because most companies are overdosing melatonin, and that can disrupt your circadian rhythm. 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams is way too much melatonin.
Well, doesn't your body stop making its melatonin or hormones? Anytime you supplement with hormones, you have to be careful you don't shut down your own body's negative feedback loop.
So that's why we went with the smallest effective dose, just 0.5 milligrams. So that's enough to work, but not enough to disrupt your system. You're not going to mess with your normal production of that hormone because it's such a small amount. Still, I would recommend taking like the weekends off. Take a couple of days off a week. Don't take it every single day. It's really shocking to see some people are taking like 5-10 milligrams of melatonin every day. And then once they stop, they can't produce it. They can't fall asleep on their own. So yeah, just a microdose of melatonin.
By the way, just to interrupt again.
Yeah.
I have clients that I hear people take melatonin like that, as you're saying, all the time, every night. I'm like, what? No one talks about it, but all those people taking melatonin out there, just be careful. I think they need to stop taking it or wean themselves off of it.
Yeah, you don't want it to become such a crutch that you can't sleep without it.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. So do you take those 2 hours before bed, 3 hours before bed, or what's the?
Probably a little sooner. The Dream CBD, maybe an hour before bed.
Okay. And do you take all those together? What's the best stack? Like I know you have on the website different stacks to take this and this together to optimize your sleep or your performance for daytime.
If you really want to have an awesome night's sleep, the GABA brain food plus the MagTech plus the Dream CBD. And those are all working on different aspects of the brain too, right? Different mechanisms of action. So they're not overlapping. We're not trying to do everything in one product. If you know you're going to sleep well, you had a really busy day and you don't need to take supplements to sleep, then maybe just take the magnesium and you don't need the other ones. But yeah, if you want a really powerful sleep effect, the GABA plus the Dream CBD plus the magnesium, and I guarantee you'll have the best night's sleep ever. That's the sleep stack. Yep.
So people shouldn't take these every night. I mean, is it bad to take supplements every night for sleeping, or should you just be able to sleep ideally without anything and have this amazing deep sleep?
You should be able to sleep, but I think some people genetically are a little wound up. They're very stimulated and it's hard for them to wind down. So if that's the case and it's impacting your sleep in a negative way, don't let it use the tools. But yeah, with all of our supplements, I recommend taking at least the weekends off. So don't take them every day. You can take them most days and it's fine. And you can take these supplements every day. They're not going to be the way we formulated them with the raw food-based building blocks and the vitamins and minerals. We're not forcing your brain to do something. So you're not going to become reliant on it. You could take it every day, but in general, with all supplements, I take a few days off a week and just make sure that your body's working functionally without any crutch at all.
So I'm just writing down 3 examples, or maybe 4. Someone that's chronically stressed, what type of supplements would you take from your natural stacks?
Serotonin.
Serotonin
brain food is our supplement. And we actually include rhodiola in that product. Rhodiola is a great adaptogen that helps with cortisol, which is related to stress. So our serotonin product, some people think of serotonin in sleep, but GABA, the neurotransmitter, is a much better pathway to improve sleep. Our serotonin product is a daytime formula. This is to relieve stress and improve mood, of course.
Okay. Second person, if they're overtrained athlete, or maybe they just, a big race, or maybe they just have been doing a heavy training block.
So physically or mentally?
Physically, they're been training a lot. So they're training for Ironman and they just did like a 20, 30 hour training week.
Yeah. So magnesium for sure. Out of the ones we talked to, I'd be doubling up the dose of magnesium to get that recovery. And then mentally, they might be low on acetylcholine or dopamine because they've been say dopamine is all about the drive and motivation. And if they've been really on an overdrive for doing for a long period of time, they potentially be pretty depleted in that. So I'd want to increase your dopamine levels as well.
If someone's depressed, anxious, just low sadness, what would you take?
So depressed and sadness would be serotonin, but anxiousness, anxiety, feeling dread, I would say is more GABA.
If you take GABA in the daytime, is that okay? I guess if you're feeling just
if you need it, yeah.
Blah,
yeah, no.
Or you're wired.
If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling racing thoughts, if you're if you're nervous about like meeting someone that you don't know or something, you could think of it as alcohol increases GABA. So yeah, alcohol might make you a little bit drowsy, but if it's during the day and you have that glass of wine, maybe you're communicating better with someone because you relieve that anxiousness that you had.
So those going on dates, first date, here we go.
Nice. GABA brain food, increasing the GABA in your brain is really great for awkward social interactions.
Okay, so that's depression, anxiety. So if brain fog, I was
brain fog, I would say acetylcholine.
So that's your memory brain fog. So
short-term memory, mental processing speed, mental clarity. That's acetylcholine.
Okay, and then I guess all of that together would be someone with HPA axis dysregulation or adrenal fatigue, adrenal exhaustion. That I think is the majority of people that were just chronically busy and on overdrive all the time. And if they're like hyperadrenic or hypoadrenic, then we look at the same thing, what you're just saying. If they're on overdrive versus if they're exhausted, kind of put you back into homeostasis.
Exactly.
So that's why you have to have I got the box. So the 4 of them, and then you have to kind of, I put it in my pantry. So then I open up the cabinet now is now supplements. What do I feel like today? I need a pep me up or focus or.
Yeah. And it's if you're having an issue, you already know what the issue is, right? You know that you're procrastinating every day. You're just not getting what you've done. So maybe you have a kind of an ongoing deficiency of dopamine. But someone like probably yourself, who's pretty well balanced already, you could do that. You can wake up. Well, for example, you can wake up and just kind of be like, dang, I'm not feeling myself today. Maybe it was what you ate last night. Maybe it was how you slept last night. But yeah, from a day-to-day and really an hourly basis, you can be more introspective. Really, it's not many people are fully balanced all the time. Either your mood's a little bit off, your anxiety or nervousness is a little off, your clarity is a little off, or your energy, your motivation is a little off. So the more introspective you can be, the better you can understand yourself, the better you can help yourself with tools to help combat whatever negative side effect you may be feeling.
Yes, and I think we always need more tools to help us perform our best mentally and physically and emotionally. And I know I was trying to write, I was laughing at that because I was trying to write this weekend. I was, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to focus on writing. And I needed, because I'm writing a new ebook on metabolic efficiency, low carb athlete. And I'm just like, all right, I have to read these articles and I can't stare at a computer. My eyes start hurting and have to get up. Like, how do you get the most out of 3 hours working and really focus? But I think it's figuring out, okay, what am I off on? Do I need to have more dopamine for the mental drive, but acetylcholine for mental clarity, and then get outside?
You got it. Yeah.
Good. Well, where can people learn more and to order your products for better brain, better life?
Better brain, better life. Naturalstacks.com. So it's stacks like a stack of books, not a snack. We get that sometimes. It's natural stacks. So naturalstacks.com. And yeah, sign up for our email list. I believe you get a discount for doing so. Listen to our podcast. We have one as well. It's called the Optimal Performance Podcast. And then, yeah, we have a pretty active blog just on our website, naturalstacks.com. And we're on social, of course, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah. And any conferences? Are you guys heading to shows this year? Because I've noticed like one every week that I want to be at. There's a lot.
What do you got coming up? Are you going to PaleoFX?
I'm going to PaleoFX, yes. Are you guys going that?
We're not. We did a couple years ago. Didn't make it this year. We're going to be going to a couple practitioner-focused conferences later this year. I'll shoot you an email once we're confirmed and see.
FDN. I'm going to that. It's in November.
FDN.
Okay. Yeah, Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Practitioner that I start taking next month.
I'll take note.
All right, guys, try it out. If you're in Seattle, you can find them, and I'm in Bellevue, across the lake from them. And it's excellent products. And I've been handing out the little serotonin brain booster supplements to my clients. And last question I forgot to ask, but age, is there, like, if a high schooler, because I have a lot of high schoolers that are kind of feeling all these same symptoms, and high school is really stressful, is there an age limit?
Our general recommendation is 18 to start.
Safe life.
Yep, that's safe. And really, the brain's not developed until you're in your 20s. So I think that's a fairly safe recommendation. I have heard people with some success with the supplements in different scenarios and different ages. But in general, 18 is our recommendation.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, check it out and, stop by in Seattle if you're around, and I'm in Bellevue, and we can help make you feel better on the inside and out. So thanks for sharing your story and your products. And you are very smart for studying all this on your own. See, we don't always need to go and get a PhD in this. You can learn more. Good. All right. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thanks for listening to the Whole Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at wholeathletepodcast.com. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.